Week in review, November 20th, 2023. As always, we're going to start off with comments and take it from there. At Mike41. Hi, Dave. As an affiliate owner since 2008, I am concerned about franchise talk going around. Hller, any truth or insight on this? Thanks for all you do. And then Hller responded, don't get caught by that word. It's all about control. Look for that. Hiller's wrong. This is not about control. The last thing we want to do is control any of or all of the affiliates. Do we want to have a business relationship with them that sets us all up for success? Absolutely. Do we want to control the affiliates? Not at all. Back to Mike 41's question. Concerned about all this franchise talk going around, and then in parentheses you put Hller. Any truth or insight on this? There is zero discussion or zero talk about of using a franchise model or churning affiliates into franchisees. That would entirely modify the model, and it would entirely upend our amazing community and affiliate owners who have fostered this community over the years. So there are no near-term or long-term plans with this current leadership to do anything around affiliation. The reason I say near-term and then I add the long-term is because, in several years, all of us could be somewhere else. In a decade, it's going to all be somewhere else. And maybe someone else down the road has plans, or not now, but someone else down the road wants to turn it into a franchise. But now, next several years, none of our team is talking about using franchise talk. Now, this is coming from that survey that went out that we used a third party. We didn't write the survey or send the survey out. A third party who was doing work with us to kind of collect information to advise us on business strategies in relation to the affiliate model and affiliate relationship with us. They sent that survey out, and yes, they used the franchise word. And so maybe you could make an argument we should have vetted that, or probably taken that word out, or not allowed them to send it with that language. But again, third party, they did it the way they needed to collect the information they wanted, and it went out like that. But again, I will say this: Hler's wrong. This talk of franchise is wrong. There is no intent to do anything with affiliates, transitioning them to or making them into a franchisee of us. And there's been other discussions on that lately. At the Dallas Fort Worth affiliate gathering, they talked about that, and so I just want to help you guys understand that that's not the case. Okay, let's move on to the next one. At Matt Burns 7234, hey Dave, thanks for doing these. What do you think will come first? Sevy's behind the scenes or the next Ice Age? Definitely the next Ice Age. At Sergio Briceno 95, are you programming semifinal workouts for 2024, or is it a group of people and you guys discussed it? Boz leads that effort. He will do it with his team. I will look at them. I will give feedback. Ultimately, though, Boz is programming the semifinal. Boz and his team, are programming the semifinal workouts. At Demothesis, I'm a huge Dave Castro fan, but your answer to unknown and unknowable is completely divorced from the original meaning of that phrase. The original intent was to prepare you for the unknown and unknowable, i.e. pursuing a criminal on foot, running into a burning building, lifting a car off of a train track, etc. It has become a gimmick, a shtick, a crutch. There is no reasons why the games has to operate the way it does. Do we really need to redefine burpee and handstand push-ups with no definitions every year? Why can't we define the sport with some consistency and allow for some elements without completely redoing it every year? You're totally missing the point here. You kind of were right on the right track, and then you took it to thinking that the unknown and unknowable is only about new objects. That is not what the unknown and unknowable is about. The unknown and unknowable is about the having a task that you did not specifically train for or prepare for coming up, that with your training of constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity, you will be able to excel. Why I say that is we are not trying to every year redefine burpees and handstand push-ups with no definition. For the most part, they have been, the standards for those movements have been pretty consistent across the years. Recently, there's been some tweaks, but that's not like every year we're trying to change the standards on how to do those movements. Every year, we're not even trying to introduce new things. If you look at the programming, some of the programming over a season, or I'm sorry, even over the games event, often there are a handful of things introduced. It's not like 100% or 80% of what you see at the games is new. And that's one of the things I really strive for when I was programming, and now that I'm overseeing it again, is essentially that it's not just trying or forcing new things for the sake of new things. There's a lot of core movements that move large loads, long distances, and quickly that we anchor off of and use for the test. And so it's not just about introducing new things for this aspect of the unknown and unknowable. And the unknown and unknowable aspect is more along the lines of not knowing in a year out, you're going to do Fran, Cindy, Murph, the CrossFit Total. Because if you knew the games are going to be Fran, Cindy, Murph, the CrossFit Total, you could literally start just specializing for those events. So the unknown and unknowable is more about within the realm of constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity with movements that move large loads, long distances, and quickly. That's kind of what we're constrained to throw at you in the unknown and unknowable. That ultimately is core CrossFit, and that is what we're testing at the CrossFit Games. So why can't we define the sport with some consistency and allow for some new elements without completely doing it with every year? We are. That's what we're doing. Why can't we great statement. Why can't we define the sport with some consistency and allow for some new elements without completely redoing it every year? We're basically saying the same thing when we get to that statement. The consistency is constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity using movements that move large loads, long distances quickly. From there, we have a lot to work with. Feel good with that answer? I do. At Beach House CrossFit, the recent franchise survey, we actually did not receive it. Objective, a third party collecting information for us, for our team, to basically understand to guide us on, to inform us on future decisions or potential decisions around the affiliate model, not related to franchising, to becoming a franchisor or a franchisee relationship. I think I covered that in the beginning a lot, so kind of listen to the beginning if you want more on that one. At OSINT7972, Dave, bring back long socks, long shorts, Gym Boss timers, Johnny G jump ropes. OG, just don't bring back your long hair suit combo. Got it. At 85 Transim, CrossFit will be Orange Theory before we know it. And then Jeff Howard, AFK, said, Orange Theory is ridiculous. Even a franchise version of CrossFit would be 100% better than Orange Theory. Of course, franchising would be a terrible idea, but to think we're going to turn into Orange Theory is absurd. Andrew Hiller, come on. That's what he said. I'm not saying that. CrossFit would have to ditch the methodology to truly become part of what is the current wasteland of junk fitness gyms. I'm not ditching the methodology, and I don't see HQ doing that anytime soon. When that happens, we are in trouble for sure. Until then, ... Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better. Jeff Howard, thank you for that. It's nice to know not everybody out there is, that there's some people out there who see the bigger picture, like he's stating. And so we are not turning into Orange Theory. If we turn into Orange Theory, I will be doing these weekly reviews from a different perspective and from a different role at a different job. So I have no doubt that we're not going to compromise the methodology or who we are. There's people here that still care immensely about the methodology and not compromising where we came from and what we are. Now, does that mean we're not going to evolve? Or does that mean the business isn't going to change? Or does that mean we're not going to do things differently that are going to potentially make people uncomfortable, especially those of us who have been around for a long time? Absolutely. We're going to do things. We're going to evolve. We're going to do things differently. We are going to do things that make longtime CrossFitters uncomfortable. We're going to do things that make me uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's wrong. And it doesn't mean it can't be done in the right way without really taking into consideration our past and thinking about the future. All right, that's it for comments. This weekend had a couple shooting comps. I did a 22 match here at the ranch, and it was pouring rain. We only had 7 people show up, but it was a great time. Really enjoyed it. It's fun doing stuff like that in the rain, although it sucks in the moment, and then having to clear all your gear up afterwards, especially when you're shooting $6,000-$7,000 guns that are getting soaked. But it was a good time. Then the next weekend, or the next day, then I went to Sacramento for a shooting comp. Had fun. Didn't do great there, but it was a good comp. I saw a lot of guys I know and really enjoyed it. Last piece I want to talk about is there's this Triple Crown concept I've been talking about for a few years now, and nothing formal, but there's the games, and there's the Rogue Invitational, a recent event. It's only been around for 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 or 5. I'm not sure exactly. Then there's Wadapalooza, and there was Dubai Fitness Challenge. I don't know if they're still running, but those two, Dubai Fitness Challenge and Wadapalooza, have been around for a very long time. So a few years ago, I was playing around this concept of Triple Crown, points for all 3. What happens if you were to collect points for those 3 events and then basically have a champion out of it? So this year, at this point, unofficially, started playing around with, had our team, had Eubanks on the team, start crunching some numbers and playing around with what a Triple Crown at this stage would look like. Triple Crown being the games, the Invitational, and then the third event will be Wadapalooza. I don't even know if all these athletes that enter this Triple Crown format that I've kind of started playing with are going to end up doing Wadapalooza, but there's a good number at this point that have done both. And so what we've done is the top 20 from the games become buy-in into the Triple Crown, and they, as long as they do all 3 stages, are the pool of athletes who get points for this. And for this initial go at it, this initial swing, this could be wrong. There could be better ways to do it. Someone out there will talk about how the way we structured it is wrong, but that's fine. The way we're using it is the lowest points win, kind of like we do in the Open. So playing that out, we have 2 of the 3 events. We have the games, which essentially becomes the feeder for the rest of it. To be in the Triple Crown points running, you have to have been in the top 20 of the game. So the top 20, those athletes enter the Triple Crown. So in this case, Tia, who did the Invitational, she's not going to be entered into this Triple Crown this year. This game we're playing. But after 2 events, here's how it shakes out. So we have a handful of women athletes, and it goes all the way down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 athletes on the women's leaderboard for the Triple Crown. Actually, I'll just go down it. So Neil she has 38 points. Semenza has 32. Flores has 31. Freyova has 31 points. Rolf has 27. Powers has 23. Danielle Brandon has 16. Carey has 14. Lowen has 11. Lowen has 11 at 5. 5th place overall so far after 2 events. Kazan has 10. Megala is currently in 3rd with 8 total points. Remember, lowest points is the goal here. Emma Lawson has 5 points, and she's currently in 2nd. 5 from a 2nd at the games and a 3rd at the Rogue Invitational. And then Laura Horvath is in 1st overall in this Triple Crown concept. She has 2 points. Obviously, she won the games and she won Rogue. So if those athletes, if especially Horvath, Lawson, and Magala, Kazan, Lowen, Carey, Brandon, call it the top 10, do the Wadapalooza, we'll have a cool little unofficial point series to point to talk about where we'll have a Triple Crown champion. On the men's side, so we have Morad with 32, Olsen with 26, Koski with 26, BKG with 23, Dukic with 23, Hoste with 21, Crouch 17. Then we work into the top 5. Dallin Peppers at 13, Fikowski's at 4th with 8 points. Roman is in 3rd with 6 points. And this is where it gets cool. Adler and Vellner are both tied with 3 points at this stage. Adler won the games, Vellner took 2nd, Vellner won Rogue, Adler took 2nd. Although in this case, the tiebreaker for this scenario, I'm just making this up right now, but it's a good tiebreaker, would be the guy who won the game. So if they both end up with 3 and 3, Adler wins because he won the games, and that trumps the Rogue Invitational in this system that I'm playing with. So I'm having fun playing through this. I hope these athletes who are on this list continue on and do the Wadapalooza, and then I'll be able to play with these numbers some more, and we'll be able to look at them and have fun with it. I know there's going to be a lot of people who criticize or come after this model, but whatever. It's just a fun little game playing with some of these numbers. All right, that's it. Thanks for tuning into the Weekend Review, and have a good Thanksgiving. See you next week.